Hello everybody. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, morning. Wow, what a great turnout. It's lovely to see you all. Some really familiar faces in the audience. Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming. So this is the Southern Counties Photographic Federation Championships being hosted this year by Winchester at Littleton Memorial Hall. Yeah, this is me. Welcome to the hall. I've got the exciting job of doing the admin announcements. And Susie has kindly put together a variety of pictures. So, let's go. So, fire exits, hopefully you've seen some of them and hopefully we won't need them. There are two behind my glamorous assistants over there, two there, indicated by the green light. There's one from the foyer, and of course there's the main door in the foyer, and if you happen to be in the kitchen or the other room, which you're not allowed in, there's exits there as well. Basically, there's no fire alarm forecast for today, so if it goes off, let's get out of the building, follow me. We've nominated the man in red to be our sort of fire monitor today, fire warden. That's John. Okay, next.
We meet about 100 metres up the field if we have to get out.
Yeah, okay, on the field.
Okay.
So, phones to silent, please. We don't want any interruptions during the exciting judging. We need to keep that quiet. If you do want to use your phone, please try to be discreet about it. Okay, next. Yes, so we're providing teas and coffees here today, and they are free of charge. Teas. Are they? I was told that. Where's Carrie? We said they were sorry about that. I wasn't aware. Mine's free. So, enjoy your tea and coffee. Next. Yeah, please can you stay out of the kitchen and the print sorting area, just so that we have the people that are trained there, so try to keep out of those rooms, please. Next. Toilets, they are off the foyer. I don't know whether anyone's found them yet, but in the foyer, sort of diagonally opposite these doors, opposite side, just next to the entrance where you came in, where the toilets are. Next. Yes, obviously we are hosting it today. Most members have brought their badges, so you can see identified by this. So if you've got any questions, any problems, anything you spot that needs fixing, sorting out, you can find a Winchester member with their badge and you can ask them, point them at me perhaps. Okay? Yes, so First Aiders is my other glamorous assistant over there, arm up in the air, that is Gavin. So if you do have any problems, you feel weak, overexcited by the scoring, or you will slip. Yes, Gavin is our nominated First Aider and he can help you out and at least make sure you're stable. He's also very good at replacing joints. Any joint problems today, you can sort those out. Next, please. Oh, right, we're on to Stuart. So the last thing I want to say is if you do any spills of teas and coffees and things, again, perhaps see one of the Winchester people and we'll get it cleared up. Okay, so now I introduce Stuart Lacey, President of the Southern Counties Federation.
Good morning, everybody. Well, firstly, I'd like to thank Gordon and the very large team from Winchester Photographic Society that's supporting the event today. We turned up at 5 to 8 this morning, and there was already a huge team starting to set up. The other thing is to note is don't we always pick a nice sunny day for these kind of events? So the first thing we do is the sun we've been waiting for so long, we have to sort of black it out so we can see these images. So thanks very much for your hosting and your efforts today. Second, I would like to thank Photospeed for their support today. I don't think Tim's in the room at the moment, but we have Tim Jones from Photospeed here today. I've a short bio. So Tim's the technical manager and academy lead at Photospeed, specialising in fine art printing, colour management and digital workflow. He has over a decade of experience as a freelance photographer and an Adobe Photoshop associate. He runs Photospeed's practical training courses and workshops on Lightroom printing and monochrome techniques. He is all, oh there he is at the back of the room now. So he'll be here for most of the day, and you'll be delighted to hear that Photospeed are offering for this day only a 25% discount. So get your papers in today while you can. He's also very happy to answer any questions you might have on any aspect of printing. And you may particularly have some questions when your images aren't doing quite as well in the print championships as you expected. Of course, I'd like to thank you, the audience, for attending today. As I say, it's a beautiful day, and I'm sure there are other things that you could have been doing. It probably gets you out of painting the fence in the garden, as it did myself. And of course, thank you to all the clubs for entering today. We have the next slide now. Yeah, so we have 600 PDIs entered from 41 clubs and 299 prints from 22 clubs. I'm reliably informed that the one less than 300 is down to Overton. So if Overton had got their full complement of images in, then we would have had a total of 900 images for our esteemed judges to look at today. And with that, it's a good segue into introducing the judges themselves, the ones who have the unenviable task of going through these 899 images. So I'd like to introduce each in turn. Perhaps you could just stand up and bow to the audience as you introduce them. But in particular, Eddie, make sure you don't stare into the light. So firstly we have Sandy Cox, EFIA, ARPS, DPA, GB. Sandy's a nature, wildlife and travel photographer, a lecturer and a judge based in Tetbury, Gloucestershire. She travels widely and uses the photographs she takes to put together talks which she gives to a variety of different groups. As well as being a judge for Western Counties Photographic Federation, Sandy judges at clubs around the country and in national and international competitions. Welcome, Sandy. And of course, Sandy was supposed to be at the championships last year and had to drop out at the last minute, so delighted to see you here. Next we have Eddie Hyde, FRPS. Eddie's been, you just stand up, don't look into the light. Eddie's been a lifelong photography enthusiast, started as many of us did with a Kodak Brownie, specialising in landscape photography but with a broad appreciation of many genres and styles. He's widely published and has many awards in national and international competitions. He's a Surrey Photographic Association judge, offers fine art sales as well as group workshops and one-to-one tuition. Eddie is also an RPS Licentiate Distinctions panel member. And then last but not least, we have Ralph Slook, EFIA Silver, ARPS, DPA, GB. Yeah. Ralph is an accomplished photographer with a particular passion for wildlife and nature photography. He's travelled extensively, photographing wildlife across Africa, the Arctic, Antarctic and Alaska, as well as close to home in the UK. Ralph is a member of the Bristol Photographic Society and Western Counties Photographic Federation, has achieved numerous international acceptances and awards for his work. He is a highly experienced judge and selector at Club, Federation and International Exhibitions, and is also actively involved in the Royal Photographic Society's Nature Group. So thank you all three of you for your time, and hopefully we'll be getting to know you a little bit better in Q&A later on during the session. So introducing others, today we have Peter Terry, the the Federation League Secretary, who is our scorer for the day. And last but not least, I'll hand over now to Susie Kirkby. She is the coordinator for all of this championship effort, and she is going to describe the proceedings that we have in front of us. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you, Stuart. Right. It's so good to see so many here. More than last year, I think. Okay. This is the programme for today. We're going to start with the PDIs and have a break in about an hour's time at 11:45, so we can all powder our noses and have a cup of tea, and then we'll finish with part 2 straight after. Hopefully there'll be time after the awards are selected to have a judges Q&A. You will be allowed to stay in the room whilst the judges select their awards, but if you could keep the noise down while that occurs, that would be great. There's plenty of room in the car park for you, so don't worry. And about 1:45 we'll have lunch. Then at 2 o'clock prompt, we'll start with the print judging, and again after an hour we'll have a break, or 300 images, whichever comes first. 150 images, whichever comes first. And then after part 2, there will be another chance for the judges to select their awards, which will be done on the boards. So if you can keep well away from the boards and no drinks near the boards, that would be wonderful. Hopefully, if everything is in order, we've got all the certificates printed, we will do the awards at 16:30. Our excellent print team will have the prints ready for you by 5 o'clock, won't they, Gordon?
Yes. Definitely.
That's the idea. This is how the scoring works. We've got 3 judges. They can all score between 5 and 2. 5 is for an outstanding image, which is worthy of consideration for an award. 4 is a national or international exhibition acceptance. 3 is general good club photography. And 2 is used infrequently where it doesn't meet the above. So if you haven't tried, you don't see. But that is rare. And having had a 6, yeah, never mind. Okay, so 3 judges will score 4, 3, 5, and that equals 12. You will hear it read out as 12, and if you hear a star, it means that one of the judges, at least one of the judges, selected it as worthy of an award. We don't give the stars out for 13s, 14s and 15s because it's obvious that at least one judge will need to give it a 5. A 9-star is not unusual. Right, so next image comes up and it manages to get 5, a 5 and a 5 and a 15, and it gets a polite round of applause. This was the winner in the dress rehearsal, best PDI, so I'm very pleased with that. However, when it comes to choosing the awards, the judges are having a closer look, and they might find that even though it got a 15, none of them think it's suitable for award. And on this particular image, if you look closely next to the reader himself, there is a fire extinguisher. Now why on earth the photographer didn't clone out that fire extinguisher? And that might be the crucial thing. You can all see it now, can't you? Yes.
On the shelf. On the shelf.
That might be the crucial thing. So, a 15 does not guarantee any award. I'm very pleased to say that the PAGB have given us patronage, which means that we have PAGB medals. And there is a gold award for the best image in each class, and 3 judges' awards to be selected. And there is no restriction on the number of highly commended, except that we've only got a certain amount of printer paper. So you will be given advice on the number of highly commended. But we'll talk about that later. So, yes, let's look out for those. In each class, the winners are the club with the highest total score, and if there is a tie, a countback applies. So the highest number of 15s, 14s, 13s, all the way down to 7s. If we're down to 6s, there's something gone wrong. And the PHP Interclub Championships and now have the top 3 clubs for each federation qualifying. It used to be 2, now 3, so good luck. And there is also an interfederation print competition, and Fer Cowhig will collect your prints after their return from the print room. So the print room,
being inundated with
the print room is sacrosanct, and we want to make sure that there are no misallocated prints during the day. So once your 15 prints have been collected by yourselves into the boxes, then we'll approach you for your prints. So that's it from me. Are we all ready and excited and on the edge of our seats? Good, excellent. And you're happy, judges, and you know what we're doing?
Yep.
Excellent. And you're ready, scorer? Yeah. So I'll just switch over the projection and we'll make a start.
We're almost ready.
No, they're going to do All Stars.
Otherwise, I think we're ready to go. Oh, folks, silent again. And discreet. Cool. Thank you, Joe. Go.
The crypt at Montesfort Abbey. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Okay, fine. The crypt at Montesfort Abbey.
Can you all take your seats for the Q&A, please?
Can I have some results, please? Thank you.
Well, I always settling down. What I would like you to do, because I know you're all shy, is turn to the person next to you. If you don't know the person next to you, introduce yourself.
with you.
And I'd like you to read between the two of you what question would you like to put to the judges, and then decide which one of you is going to ask it. Okay, so maybe we'll be coming to you in a minute. Okay, shall we make a start then? Right, so the first question I would like to ask you actually is that obviously this is a sort of silent judging session, so you're sort of sitting there, the images just come up for a few seconds and then you press a button. So I'd quite like to know what's going through your mind in the seconds leading up to pressing the button, and I'm hoping it's not just eeny, meeny, miny, mo. So would you like to go first, Andy?
Well, if I go first, I can pick anything.
Yeah.
The first thing I look for when a picture comes up on the screen is that it's sharp and that it's got texture, because I'm a bit of a texture buff. I look for to be able to feel my photograph. I don't just want to see detail, I want to see texture as well. So that's what I look for first off. And then if it hits me, then I tend to click the button.
The first thing for me is immediate impact. As soon as that image goes up, if it draws me into it and makes me look closer, then it's starting to win. And then after that, it just comes down to quality, looking around to see that it's sharp and it hasn't been over-sharpened, and the processing is important. In the PDIs in particular, I felt that quite a lot were over-processed, spoiling really good images. But basically, it's that initial impact followed by the quality and the content. Sometimes there's a story in the image, and that comes out as well.
Well, so without trying to be repetitive, I've got a kind of three-stage process when I'm looking at pictures. The first one is, do I feel anything when I look at it? And by feel anything, it could be, wow, where's that? I'd love to go there and take pictures there. Is it funny? Is it cute? Is it dramatic? Is it mysterious? Is it horrible? It doesn't have to be a nice picture. It can actually, images that show perhaps pollution spills and things can be documentary and powerful. And then the next one is it appropriately technically correct, sharp, well focused, well exposed, and finally there's an elusive quality that you don't find with many pictures, but when you do find it, is a real kind of refreshing sort of sight, and that is. Is it a bit different? Has someone done something creative, or shown us something that we see every day, but from a different perspective?
Okay, thank you. I think a follow-on from that is, if your finger's hovering between the 4 and 5 button, what is it that will actually persuade you in the end to press the 5?
Management decision tool? I think probably one of the questions in that brief moment that you're trying to decide is sometimes it's as simple as, would I put that on my wall, or would I look at it for a month on a calendar? Does it have that appeal? For me personally. So sometimes it's a personal choice, and other times it just has that wow factor, and you just look at it and you say, well, that's got to be worth considering for an award.
Very similar. I mean, to go from a 4 to a 5, we were given very good guidelines before we started this, and they were shown to all of you. What's a 2? What's a 3? What's a 4? And what's a 5? And I thought they were incredibly well written, such that actually you could see that if you're for a 4, it was above the normal kind of good quality club image, the sort of thing that you would perhaps expect to get into an exhibition. And then after that, it's at an exhibition, which are the ones you might go up and say, those are the ones I remember, and sort of stick in your mind.
I think when you get to the point of judging
This one.
a 4 or a 5, they can be very close technically. And so therefore I think it comes down a lot to personal preference. And for me, although I'm a wildlife photographer, I like other things as well, and quite bizarre things sometimes. So you need, and for me, it's what hits me here. And if it can do that, then it's going to get a 5.
1 and 3.
Okay, so has anybody else in the audience got any questions that they would like to ask yet? Oh, that's good. You're going to go far with it.
What do any of you feel about maybe the onset of AI into software, etc., and how you feel that might react with competitions and etc. like this? Do you think it will have an effect in the future?
Without a doubt, it will have an effect. There's lots of aspects of AI. AI is in all of the tools that we use, etc. And I think those are going to get better, and organisations will struggle to find the right rules. Basically, it comes down to trust at the end of the day. I have a feeling that eventually we will move to have AI categories in photography. I don't know whether that's going to happen, but I suspect it may do. And I personally would welcome it, because it would keep all of the AI images into one section and make life easier to control on some of the others. So.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to creative. When that first came in, it was competing in all the genres, particularly in open, and to some extent in animal pictures as well, which if it's in a general open competition doesn't matter. Obviously you can't do it in natural history. And I think over time clubs actually created a creative section so that there wasn't the fighting between the different sections. And I think the same thing could happen with AI, that you'll have a section that you can do anything you like with AI, and it's in a separate section.
Nothing much to add really, other than the fact that if, so long as Ralph said, as long as we can trust our fellow photographers to comply with whatever rules are written about the competition you're entering, then as a judge you just go with it, and you don't, I don't think we need to be worried. But if you know there's someone in your club who doesn't obey the rules, then dob them in, basically.
Next question from the floor.
Yeah. Thank you. Can you tell me if the title of the image affects your score at all?
Personally, I'm not sure it affects the score. Sometimes titles that are kind of a little bit difficult to puzzle out take up a little bit of your thought time trying to work out what on earth the photographer means by it. But then actually after, if you can't fathom it out, you just say, I'll just look at the image and make my own judgment about it. So image titles can influence things, and if you can actually make sure that your image title relates to what we're looking at, it helps. But it doesn't. I'm not sure it's going to actually sort of detract from the marks, not from my point of view.
I don't disagree with that. There's only a couple of things I would say, and I try desperately not to allow this to influence me, but I have a pet hate of cute titles for nature images, particularly if it's in a nature section. And I think people go overboard on titles. We have a title describing what it is, and then it tells you when they took it and where you took it, and that's totally irrelevant. It's not going to affect the judging process at all, and just takes up time. But I think, as Eddie said, sometimes a title can release something in the image that you may have missed, and that may or may not eventually have a point difference in the score. Difficult to say.
Pretty much everything has been said already that I would say, and I'm certainly with Ralph on cute titles on wildlife pictures. Yeah, don't like that at all.
Okay, another question? How are we going to get there?
Hello. With the quality of the prints that are up there, is the paper considered part of your scoring, looking at how the image is printed and the quality of papers that are available? Does that count towards the score, or are you ignoring paper, basically?
I think sometimes paper can add to a picture, definitely. I try not to initially let that have any effect on the visual aspect of the picture and the emotional feel of the picture. But in some instances, if you've got a very soft pastel-y picture put on an art paper, then it increases that emotional content. So yes, in that instance, it possibly would. Although personally, I only ever use two types of paper. But that, I think, sometimes can be detrimental when you enter salons. And if you're going for letters, especially PAGB letters, because they seem to like the more textured papers and the different paper rather than just plain luster or gloss. I don't know what others feel.
I think in judging in the way that we're judging here, the paper is not obvious, shall I say. Sometimes you can see it's a textured paper, sometimes you can see it's a matte paper, and that may or may not complement the subject. I think when it comes to looking at the awards, then I certainly pay attention to what it's printed on, to see whether that helps or hinders the image. But when they're going through at that speed and at some distance, you don't really get a real feel for the paper that it's on, unless it's obvious.
Yeah, I think from everything I remember looking at today, I think the choices in papers that everybody made were really good. I think it's more a case of exception than rule, and the exception would be where if someone had put, there's always a risk to put in a super high gloss picture for anything, because then if you put it under the wrong light, you get reflections and it's difficult to look at. I don't know, I don't recall looking at anything super high gloss today that had caused any problems. So I think everyone was making really good choices.
I actually have a supplementary question for you on that, which is that you seem to have been more generous pressing the 5 button with prints, and there are more 15s than we got this morning. I'm assuming it wasn't the effect of lunch. So the question really is, do you have some different or additional criteria when you're assessing the prints compared with projected images?
Well, there's a few things that come into play there. One is whatever you put in our lunch to influence us. But no, joking aside, I think as photographers and as judges, our conversation went along the lines that just there's something about prints that is more enjoyable. And another thing that, I mean, this comes into play if you're going for distinctions, then you talk PAGB or the Royal Photographic Society. Whenever you project images up enormous, it amplifies errors. Whereas when you look at prints at normal kind of viewing distance, I won't say you can get away with more, but it's a kind of viewing experience than blowing something up enormous, where if there is any kind of technical errors, you'll spot them. And so, for example, but the quality of the prints that we had this afternoon were exceptional, and they were of a general better standard than the PDIs. A lot of PDIs this morning were out of focus. They had over processing errors. many a landscape image, which was beautiful, was spoiled by the fact there was a halo line running around all the edges of everything, where the contrast has been pumped up, and you've split the components apart. And you've spoilt it, and there was many out there, some were noisy, some were out of focus. And you see that blown up big. Whereas on a print, you can get away with slightly more than that. But actually, I think people take more care about printing than they do about putting in the PDI.
Probably the cost.
Well, I think I agree with what Eddie said, and I definitely agree that my observation is that if you go to any competition that allows prints and PDIs, I expect the prints to be a better quality generally than the PDIs, because a number of factors. One, it costs you money, and also if you're printing, you care about what you're printing. You've got to pay for it, you've got to mount it. If you're sending it in, you've got to pay for the postage, so you take a lot of care. And what Eddie said about projecting is absolutely true, because any halos or anything are exaggerated when you put it up on a 6-foot square screen or something like that. But I guess the main reason that we gave more fives was all the money that people gave us at lunchtime.
Yeah, I think the other thing too with prints versus PDIs, your screen at home could look very different to wherever that image goes to be judged. So while your screen might be set for your particular taste, perhaps you have it brighter than is the norm. So it's going to be affected by the judges. If they're going to look at something that's oversaturated or overly bright, they're going to mark it down, whereas it might seem perfectly normal on your own screen, which is why it's always advised if you're going for letters that you use prints, because you can see immediately in front of you what the assessors are going to see and not what is going to be shown on the screen.
Okay, I think Ferg's going to shout the next question.
You've said a lot about positive things, things that you've enjoyed, things that you look for when when you might press your 5. But have you got pet hates, things that you just really don't want to see anymore?
Kingfishers, pelicans?
I have several pet hates. One of them is spiders. I don't like spiders, but I'm not adverse to giving a first place to a spider. I think your own personal pet hate have to be set aside when you judge. That you have to judge what is in front of you. And if that image of a spider is the best one of the night, then that gets first place. No question.
How long have you got? I've got a number of subjects that I think have been overdone and that are unnatural in some ways. One of my pet hates is bloody mice on tulips and such like, because I think those are totally unnatural, and yes, they are very cute and they're quite often excellent images, and I really have to force myself to give it an appropriate mark rather than a 2. But yeah, there are plenty of things that we've all seen for the last 2 or 3 years, and they come up over and over again. And it's quite sometimes hard work to actually stand back from the fact that, oh look, there's another one. But
I don't know as if I've got any subject pet hates, but I do have some pet hates, but they're related to how images are processed more than anything. So, for example, there is often a trend in sports action images, and to kind of grab the background with the new masking tools and suppress the background so much that it no longer looks natural, making it dark grey and muddy and out of focus. And I think when people carry that, I mean, it is actually quite popular in many circles, and it often does incredibly well at PAGB competitions. I can't stand it.
Sorry.
For any of you with wildlife pictures, how do you feel about a photographer putting an amusing name against what it is actually? For instance, a particular type of butterfly, rather than having an amusing or flitting bug.
I think if you're entering a nature competition, a wildlife competition, you should make every effort to name the subject. I don't want to need Latin names, but ideally you name the subject. And you may or may not include what it's doing if it's important. You know, something with mum and whatever it is in the title when it is a picture of wildlife with cubs, etc. I just think, well, why don't you just tell us what it is? We know what it is. And the only other things is another pet hate when they say cheetah and cub when it's a very nice leopard. You know?
I think I'm with Ralph on that. I have got a photograph at home that I've used of a cheetah up a tree with her cubs, and one of the cubs looks to be whispering in her ear, and I call it Secrets for my own personal use. But when I enter this competition, it's got a proper title. So no, I don't think that whimsical names are appropriate for wildlife, unless it is in an open section and it's definitely got a humorous aspect to the image itself.
What you just said.
Okay, I think we'll wrap up the Q&A there and have a short break before we do the awards. So I think a round of applause for our judges. Okay, this is our storeroom position. So what we're going to do is we'll go through the PDI awards first, and then the prints. We'll present the highly commended, so we'll just hand over the certificates for that. And then for the individual silvers and the gold awards, I'll ask the judges to stand up and say a few words about their chosen image. Okay, so are we ready to go then?
Yep.
Right, so the first highly commended we're presenting is, make sure they're all right. So, Ron Diaz of Harrowlands Camera Club, Early Birds. Okay, the next highly commended then is Leap of Faith by Tony Coburn of Winchester Photographic Society. Is there anybody from Winchester here today? Highly commended for Bereft by Peter Davison of Basingstoke Camera Club. Highly commended for Jellyfish Dance by Barbara Beecham of Southampton Camera Club. Highly commended for Polar Bears at Play by Julia Wainwright of Chichester Camera Club. Okay, and the last PDI highly commended is Organza by Brian Payne of New Forest Camera Club. Okay, now we're on to the first silver medal award, and this is Rob Snook's selection. It's Dancing Dandelion Seeds by Mark O'Leary of Overton Photographic Society.
Okay, I selected this image just because of the beautiful pictorial quality of it. It just struck me as soon as that image came up. I thought it was beautiful. It's simple, but it has a delicacy about it that is just appealing. And there may be somebody in the audience who doesn't find that appealing, and I struggle to see why. But a fantastic image.
The next silver medal award is Eddie Hyde's choice, and it's As the Meadow Stills by Sharon Bolt from Newbury Photography Club.
I almost wonder whether anybody could imagine why I wouldn't have chosen this image. Basically, I mean, the horse has been captured in a beautiful moment of movement, and the whole picture has got an artistry about it. So it's a work of art as well as being a beautiful picture of a horse. The light is just gentle but vibrant, and the whole thing has just got a ton of atmosphere about it as well. So absolutely stunning image. Well done.
Okay, and Sandy Cox Silver Medal Award goes to Liberty by Valerie Griggs of Hordine Camera Club.
I chose this image because it was different, and it's completely out of my comfort zone, if you like. The intentional camera movement in it, but it was drawn into that image. And you look at it, and you look at the Statue of Liberty, and then it draws you round through the sort of even more out of focus and virtually disappearing into the clouds buildings, and then you come and stop on the right hand side with the taller images and with the different colours. And it just appealed to me, and I think this is what we were saying earlier, that you need a picture that you're drawn to straight away, and this was one of them.
Thank you. And the gold medal winner for PDIs is Totally Focused on His Prey by Pete Wilden of Winchester Photographic Society.
This, I think, the photographer has done brilliantly to get the cat actually focused completely on something, not looking directly at the camera, but you don't always need your subject looking directly at you, and especially with wildlife, because it gives the feeling that you're not actually there, whereas if it's looking directly at you, then it's obvious that you're there. But I love the texture that you've got, not only in the cat's fur, but also in the snow as well. And you were, in a way, I think, lucky with the sky. It's not often we get to say that, because it can either be too blue or too grey. But I think with the sort of more delicate, sort of silvery grey that you've got of the clouds, it makes the cat stand out really well against that. And the little bit of shrubbery that you've got on the right-hand side just shows its environment. And you haven't gone in tight, which is, again, sometimes can be a fatal mistake with wildlife. I'd like to see a little bit of the environment in which they live, and I think you've shown us that. And with the cat on the diagonal as well, a strong position for it in the frame.
Okay, thank you very much. And now we come on to the club awards, and we will do the three winning clubs in reverse order. All three of these clubs will go on to represent the Federation at PHEB Interclub PDI Championships. So in third place we have Chichester Camera Club. Okay, second place goes to Winchester Photographic Society. Playing home advantage. Okay, and the overall winner for PDIs is Newbury Photography. Yep. So with that, we move on to the prints.
Oh, wait.
Oh, sorry. You want to spend? Right. So we'll move on to the prints now, and again do the highly commended first. So the first highly commended goes to Little Beach, Isle of Harris by Andrew Holmes of Alton Camera Club. Okay. Highly commended to Boy in Alcove by Tony Smith of Winchester Photographic Society. Highly commended for Going for a Treat by Rebecca Hitchcock from Haven Camera Club. Highly commended for Lone Trees at Fleet Pond by Christine Cranford of Yankee Camera Club. Highly commended for Sammy Coater and the Northern Lights by Simon Merriman from Winchester Photographic Society. Okay, and the final highly commended is The Crypt, Winchester Cathedral by Peter LeComte at Lewington Camera Club. Okay, yeah. You can sit down for a moment. So now we get to the individual awards. The first silver medal selected by Ralph Snook is Taj Photographer by Norman Wiles of BH Photography Club.
I chose this image just because it's different and it just drew me to it. And I just love the way that the single photographer just stands out at the bottom of the image, and then as you drift through that image, you realise what you're looking at, and it's a fantastic treatment for a familiar subject, something we all know, the Taj Mahal, and to treat it differently in this way, and the idea of either cloning the photographer in or someone who is with you is just an outstanding idea, and I just thought that was a fantastic image.
Okay, and Eddie Hyde's selection silver medal is for Reflected Silver Birch by Ferg Cowig of New Forest Camera Club.
This is just a beautiful, gentle landscape with a simple composition that works. But one thing that you can't pick up from the projected image is the quality of the print. And the print, I think, was, if I recall correctly, was printed on a really beautiful choice of paper that actually really enhanced the image. And the print was much more vibrant and bright and lively than this projected image. And it's simplicity. But in the simplicity in landscape photography is one of the major assets, and this one just really kind of appealed greatly. Thank you.
And Sandy the silver medal choice is Optic Fox Waiting Patiently by Richard Sheldrake from Southampton Camera Club.
I chose this image for the reason that it does draw you in. The orange eye of the fox really pulls you in, and the fact that it's not completely in focus, there's softer hair under its chin going down its chest, and perhaps the ear that's furthest away from us is just also slightly soft and disappearing into the background. But I like that aspect. It's not a true record of the fox, it's an interpretation and an impression, if you like, of the fox. And I like that, that's what appealed to me and drew me in. And again, on that diagonal for it walking into the picture from the top corner, top right corner, going down to bottom left, is always a strong composition anyway. So I was just drawn to it, so I think.
And the Gold Award for prints is John by Dennis Gilman from Lymington Camera Club.
Yes, I think we collectively this one was a score of 15, so clearly it impressed all of us. And really, the PDI looks fabulous, but the print looked even fabulouser. It had a richness and a depth to it. The blacks were black and the whites were white in the corners of the eye. That lovely little rim round the dog collar. I mean, it's a shame we couldn't actually sort of see more of the dog collar just to show the gentleman's profession a little bit more. But once you've seen it, you know. And he's got such a characterful face, and this the expression that has been captured just looks beautifully natural and relaxed. But there's a great thoughtfulness to him, and the quality of the focus and the exposure of both eyes are beautifully sharp. There's a great depth of field to it, so it just kind of grabs you when you look at it.
Okay, so now we come on to the top three clubs in reverse order for prints, and of course these three clubs will be representing the federation at the Inter-Club Print Championships. And the third place goes to Yateley Camera Club.
Beautiful. Thank you. Again.
Second place is New Forest Camera Club. And the winner for the prints is Winchester Photographic Society. I guess I'll just let you ponder the overall scores for a while. Okay, so with that we conclude the proceedings. Hopefully you were inspired by the photography you saw this afternoon. If your club didn't do quite so well, don't go ahead, don't go away despondent. Just try harder next year. So of course we just have to sort of say a few thank yous again. So firstly, a big round of applause to our Judges for a stunning a big thank you to the whole team from Winchester and everybody who's helped make this day such a success. So a big shout out for the print room, because I know from personal experience what a difficult job it actually is. But I think it went really well all afternoon. So a big round of applause for the. And of course we have the unsung heroes, the ones who do all the catering during the day. So thanks very much to all of you. Finally, a big thank you to all of you for coming today and for sticking around to the bitter end. I'm really impressed with the turnout today, and long may this continue. So thanks once again, everybody, and have a safe journey home.
Oh, sorry. Well, you're part of the overall team.